Hi, Maria, back with another video. It's 6:34 a.m. It is October 1st, Tuesday morning. I'm heading down to work right now, and it's a very chilly day, which is nice, actually a little more chilly than it was yesterday. At least it seems that way. So, anyway, I was thinking early this morning. I woke up around, I don't know, 2:45 or so, and, I started thinking about, how, all the years have gone by, and this system has been in place with my family and their stupid psychoterrorism. And, I'm not, I choose to leave my family. That's my choice. And so, and I was thinking about, I know I have a son, and I never raised him to, I always left the issue of religion open to him. That's his decision to do whatever he wants. I never, I did tell him little things that I thought that I discovered when I was younger. We had a brief discussion about it. We never talked about it in depth. I never, forced anything on him. And, when you have a child, that child is basically yours to raise, and it's your decision as a parent to raise them in whatever tradition or custom or belief system that you want to. And so I know that my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, is very controlling. And, I'm just saying is, my son, because he's my son, he's over the age of 18. He can do what he wants, okay? And just because I'm leaving the family doesn't mean that, my son has to. That's his choice, okay? That is entirely up to him, okay? But, I think he should weigh up the issue, and look at this with a little bit clearer eyes and to see what really happened. I never really talked to my son about my family growing up. He knew that they were my siblings or whatever, but he never, I never talked to them about my bullying or anything, because I never really focused on it. I never realized how controlling they were, until, of course, all of this happened. And I'm sure, they probably convinced him, which if they did pollute his mind in any way, I will say that that's like the ultimate low that you can go when you try to turn a kid against their own parent. But when you're dealing with somebody who's fanatical and somebody who is a control freak, a narcissistic behavior, personality, or whatever, this is the sort of stuff that they do, okay? And, it can be very heart-wrenching for somebody in the middle of it where they feel like they have to make a decision. I'm not going to put that pressure on my son, and I will love my son regardless. Also, I will never bring this issue up in front of my son, okay? He knows that I know about those wicked people, and that's all we have to do. That's all we have to deal with, My son is the only family that I have, and I cherish him very much. But I do say that, these people have absorbed a lot of my life, more of my life than, they did it, I said from childhood and to my adult years, right, where I'm getting very old right now. And so, I don't advise my son to intermingle with them, make any deals with these people. If he is already involved in a deal with these people, he needs to do the best he can. But, I really do encourage my son to, always try to make other ways for himself, because these people don't know when to stop sucking up your life. They don't. They have absolutely no sense of boundaries or respect for the needs of other people, and that's dangerous. It's my desire as a parent to have my son live up to his full potential, whatever it is he wants to do in life, okay? Not what Jim Culligan wants him to do, not what, Tanya Culligan wants him to do. He's my son, okay? But most importantly, he belongs to himself, okay? So my son's in his mid-20s, and he's going to have to make some life decisions, and those decisions should be revolved around him, and, and I don't want these people interfering with whatever he wants to do. That's just how it is, So, you know, and I'm sure my Down family is watching my videos, and that's my 2 cents worth. Okay, that's my 2 cents worth, because I can see how destructive these people are. They are extremely destructive. They are the kind of people that will suck up every ounce of life that you have. And, you know, I don't want my son suffering the way that I suffered. I suffered years, decades, okay, because of these people. And they don't need to be clinging on. And like I said, you know, there's nothing wrong with being cordial. If he wants to visit them or whatever, that's their choice, okay? But I'm gonna warn him right now, keep your guards up, okay? Because they tend to think or make up rules as they go along, and that's my biggest concern, okay? That is my biggest concern, and it's for his own well-being, okay? And of course, you know, I've had these thoughts before, but I never felt compelled about talking about it because you know, my brother, my ex-brother-in-law is very hard-headed, and he needs to understand that what he does is destructive, and it's very morally devastating to anybody that he comes in contact with. Okay, so you know, like I said, my son's old enough to make decisions on his own. Whatever decisions that he makes, he does not make the decisions for the betterment of the family. He makes his decisions for himself. Okay, that's his choice. If he wants to devote his energy into a project that, you know, the family, like for example, my family was choosing my jobs and making my life a living hell. If he wants to continue in that little network, that invisible network, then that's his choice, okay? But if he chooses not to, then that should be respected, you know, and just let it go. Because, like I said, you know, there were things I wanted to do in my life, and everything that I wanted to do in my life that these people would just squash out, you know, and I really resent their intrusion. And it's one thing to mess up my life, but don't mess up my son's life. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So anyway, enough of that issue. You know. So I'm just trying to get myself together. And you know, when it comes to the whole issue of looking for work, I can only do what I can do. You know, I mean, I can't see or understand how I would be trained to do any other job other than what I was doing. Now, do I really want subordinates at this point? My answer is no, I don't. And not because I feel like I'm giving up on this issue. It's because, you know, I look around and I understand how unmotivated people are. And I don't really want to be responsible for trying to motivate people to do anything when most people really don't have the drive and the ambition or, you know, any of that. They don't have it. I don't want the responsibility of trying to make that happen. But I do say that I would like to be working in an environment where there's even exchanges, it's a pleasant environment, and obviously the only thing that I'm really suited to do is office work. Now, I know that my family likes to say things like, oh, she's artistic. I'm not artistic. I'm artistic when it comes to my hobbies, okay? And so, and of course, you know, I do make clothes, but when it comes to the office, like if I'm working in an office environment, my clothes are always like regular standard office clothes, like, you know, the standard slacks or, you know, the regular plain dress or whatever. I don't really wear, you know, anything bold or anything like that at work. Unless, of course, it's open in, like, you know, like over at the farmer's place, there was no dress code. I mean, there was like no dress code at all. So it was like, you know, I could bounce back from jeans. I could wear like a skirt that I made myself that might be multicolored or whatever. But if it's like a regular office environment, you know, I just dress like everyone else, you know, like, meaning I just pretty much wear the slacks, the dress code or whatever. And I do prefer working in a professional office environment. I prefer it, okay? I do prefer working in an office environment. I don't think my office attire, you know, the thing is with these people is like when I was first working at my first accounting job, which I secured on my own, but I'm sure they infiltrated anyway. You know, I remember, you know, I was a single parent, so I didn't have a lot of money. So oftentimes, you know, I would wear I looked forward to casual Fridays back then because you could wear jeans or whatever. But I didn't have a lot of nice clothes really back then. So what I did was, I just kind of wore whatever. And sometimes my clothes were kind of like sloppy or they weren't ironed or whatever. And so they were bitching about that. They were bitching about that. So it's like, it's not that the fact is, they just don't want me doing anything. That's it, regardless. Okay, they'll bitch about it if I'm somewhat sloppy, and they're gonna bitch about it if I'm dressed up. Okay, and I really don't think that my clothes are really that dressed up. Like what I'm wearing right now, I've been wearing jeans, some typical standard flats or whatever. Then I guess they compare themselves to me, they must be really sloppy or something because I don't really see where what I'm doing is a big deal. But I get tired of. I'm just tired of them, is basically what I'm saying. I'm tired of their input. I don't want their input. I didn't ask for it, so, and so I think that being associated with these people is, it's a negative thing. There's nothing good to come out of it, and so that's one of the reasons why I'm concerned about, my offspring because, I know the kind of destruction that they can cause, But, back to looking for the work thing, I mean, I really don't know. I have no idea. All I can do is just keep plugging along. Nothing comes to mind because it's like, well, I'm sure they're thinking, well, she's going to learn new things to get back to finding it. When it comes to the office, I mean, I pretty much know all the software programs that are in use. I mean, I could use a little bit more experience with PowerPoint or whatever, but I mean, I don't really have. I'm kind of like at a standstill. I don't know, So I think it was wrong for them to put me in a situation like this, and then not, especially because everything's behind the scenes. Like that leaves you like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like I have no idea. So I don't really have any other option other than to present myself as to what I'm used to doing. I don't necessarily need to be a manager, but because I don't want that responsibility of having to motivate people. I don't. I understand that now that I understand how the employment sector works and the kind of mindset that most people have, and I see people, they don't really care. They don't care about, anything, and especially since it works in the way that it does. What kind of incentive do they have to care about anything that they do? Nothing. So why put extra pressure on yourself? But I do want to return to a regular work environment. That's what I want to do, and and I mean, I would prefer to keep my hand in accounting to some degree, but because that's what I'm mostly good at. That's mostly what I've been doing for the last, 20-something years. But I mean, I also know, I can write correspondences. I'm pretty good with that and stuff like that. But that's not something that people do all day. When you work in an office, you pretty much do a little bit of everything, okay? Especially if you worked for as long as I have, 20-something years. You write correspondences, you make spreadsheets, you answer phones, even though I'm not somebody who wants to answer phones like all the time, but, only because, I'm not, what do you call it? It's just not something I prefer to do, but everybody has to, okay? That's one of those things that, one of your least favorite type things to do, but everybody has to some extent. Whether you're answering the main line or you're answering for a department, that's what you have to do. But, because I thought, well, what else am I supposed to do? Like, I can't drive. I mean, I can drive to and from certain places. I can run errands, but I would not want to be like working, like driving vehicles all day long or something like that. So, I mean, my options are pretty limited. I don't really have very many options, other than to keep trying to plug away and doing what I'm doing. But hopefully not at the place where I'm at right now, because, it's not that I don't, I don't really, I want to get away from everything that my family created. That's just how it is. I want to have decent working relationships instead of, feeling that I'm dealing with extensions of these people. That's basically what it is, okay? And that's important to me, so that I can have a better outlook on life, because when you're dealing with people, I personally feel as though my family they're terrorists. Okay, anybody who would pull a stunt like that is a form of terrorism. And then when you go into a work environment under that system, you can only feel that way. You can't, you can be polite or whatever like that, but you can't really feel safe. Like you're not really, I don't feel protected. And so I would prefer, to kind of move on, especially since, I need more work during my hours a day. I get too bored at home, it's just better for me to work a full 8 hours a day. But I would say that my outlook on work has changed a lot, not because I don't have the drive or the ability, because I think that I have very good standards when it comes to working. I think that I believe in my method of training people and of creating a pleasant work environment. I believe in it 100%. Because not only is it fruitful, it's compliant with federal and state laws, okay? But I understand that most people don't work in this manner, and they don't seem to care, and and I don't want. I'm fine with that, okay? But what I want is I just want to return to a regular job, and it has to be in office because that's really all I can do. I mean, I'm too old to want to change that. I don't want to change that. I never wanted to. When you deal with family, and I would say my ex-family doesn't really know me. They know that I like to make things, and yeah, I do on my spare time, but to do it as a living, no, I would never want to do that. I'm not artistic, yeah, I do like fun clothes, what I mean, but when it comes to work, it's like, work attire is pretty standard for most women, okay, and it is pretty much the same for men as well. It's like the same stuff, it's like you wear a pair of, first of all, I do think that these people kind of get ridiculous, because if there's nothing wrong with my attire at all. The way I dress for work is appropriate, and if somebody was to debate that, I would seriously ask them, what is your issue? Because that's the standard office shit that everybody wears. I mean, most people they wear like a blazer, a nice pair of pants, and I couldn't understand an employer that would think it's okay to come to work in shorts and flip-flops, unless of course it's one of those businesses where nobody really has interaction with the public. But when it comes to, like, if you're working in an insurance office, you got customers, it's always been standard that you dress professionally. So I just think my family likes to squawk about nothing, and of course I know my siblings have this jealousy issue, with me or whatever, and I think it's really dumb, and I don't even want to think about it anymore. But I just don't want, I never agreed to have my goals in line with my family, and it's not selfishness, it's just that was never discussed with me, and I don't like people operating things or maneuvering things behind the scenes to try to make it work in their favor. I don't really give a shit about my ex-brother-in-law and all these other people. I don't, there was a time where I did care about them from a distance. I figured, I wish them well. But you pull stunts like this, and then I realize how long you've been doing it. It's just stupid and absurd to think that I would even care about these people. It's absurd. I present myself well in front of an employer. I'm very professional, and I think that if I was an employer, I would appreciate, the effort of somebody wearing decent clothes instead of coming to work with flip-flops and tank tops and stuff like that. Of course, like where I work right now, I pretty much just wear jeans, and I do wear tank tops and stuff like that here because, but I will never dress scummy. I will never dress that way. I don't dress that way. I don't even own things like that in my closet. I do have some sweats, okay, and I have worn them around the house or whatever, and I've used them as pajamas or whatever, but I'm just not one of those people. I'm not an athletic sport type person. I don't wear like tennis shoes. I don't wear those things, okay? That doesn't mean I'm materialistic. It doesn't mean that I care, I'm all about those things, I think that people should dress professionally. I think people should present themselves well in front of an employer. Okay, if I was interviewing somebody and they showed up in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, depending on what kind of job. Actually, I can't understand how anybody would wear that to any kind of job interview, even to be a garbage man. Like if I was a man, I would still wear at least a decent pair of shoes, a decent pair of pants, and a shirt. Doesn't have to be, probably not a tie with it, but it would still be something presentable. Even though I know it's a position for like, a sanitation position, but still, it's like you're going in front of an employer. You should be presentable. I don't understand. See, I just think their shit is just frivolous, and I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm just sick of it. This doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, so I'm almost there, and I got to fumble with this stupid. It's not stupid, but it's like something weird happened to the printer, the slash scanner yesterday, and I was like trying hard, and then I realized that somebody must have disconnected the printer yesterday, so I had to redo it. So then I had to scan some documents, and then I realized I couldn't scan it because there was something wonky going on. So now, I'm like, okay, I gotta go ahead and try to figure this out, try to fix it. I like everything to run smooth. I do. I'm dealing with my job. Okay, I'm dealing with it, but I know it's not really for me. I prefer to work around other people that I know are not associated directly with my family. That's just how it is. I want to turn over a new leaf and be happy again. I was thinking, a while ago how when I was younger, I was so optimistic about my future, and I really believed that, hard work mattered. I really believe that. And now I understand. It's like, I do what I have to do at my job, but, I know that when you're dealing with my family, it doesn't matter what you do, and it doesn't. You will never be rewarded for your work, just like what happened over at the farmer's place. So it's like, you don't want to walk into a place where the morale is so low. Like, that you're dealing with people, my family, ex-family, you're dealing with people who are never going to treat you accordingly. Why would you want to mess with that? Why should you be happy that these people are behind your work? And that's another reason why I prefer my son, do what he needs to do. Because, he's still young, and these people have really, literally destroyed so much of my life. And I don't want anyone else to ever have to suffer the way that I suffered. And I suffered, tremendously. And so, that's just my opinion. It's not my opinion, it's a fact. It's a fact, My voice is a little hoarse today. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And I'll be back with another video some other time later. Take care.